Hey, my name is Jumpy, and today I'm going to review The Beekeeper, the 2024 movie directed by David Ayer and starring Jason Statham. What happened was, one of my friends had a bee in her house, so I suggested we watch The Beekeeper because I wanted to see it anyway, and so I could ask her how accurate the movie is, of course. We watched this and then another movie afterwards. I have so much fun watching movies with my friends, and I wouldn't trade that for anything. But we do talk throughout the movies either in voice calls or typed messages. For this reason, I always miss a few details, so I've seen the movie, but I don't feel like I can do a full review without watching it again on my own and giving it my full attention. If I don't feel like doing that, I might just give my quick thoughts, like I did for David Lynch's Dune in my Lost Highway video. I rewatched The Beekeeper and the other movie I'm going to review in my next video within a week or two of seeing them for the first time. But that doesn't always happen. There are other movies I've watched with people, and I've taken some notes and written down a few jokes for a review video that will happen at some unknown future date whenever I feel like revisiting them. And since The Beekeeper is a Statham movie, I should mention that I still haven't watched The Meg 2, which promises to be his greatest film. However, I did see Megan 2.0 and I enjoyed it a lot. At one point, I was going to review that and The Meg 2 in the same video because they're both sequels to movies that I reviewed together a couple years ago. But this is a case where I feel like I did that joke once and I don't know if I need to do it again. I'll probably just watch The Meg 2, and if I feel like it has enough in it that's worth discussing, I'll do a video. Back to The Beekeeper. In that film, Statham plays a beekeeper named Adam Clay, just like Sandra Oh in the movie He begins by killing some hornets that are messing with his bees. Adam Clay is an anagram for a calm day, which unfortunately for him does not occur during the events of this movie. He rents some space on the property of an elderly woman who is on her computer and unwittingly falls for a phishing scam, and loses all her money in her accounts and $2 million from a charity account. Clay enters the house, sees signs that things are wrong, so he grabs a knife and discovers that the woman committed suicide. Another younger woman is there at that moment, and it's the elderly woman's daughter. She's FBI Special Agent Verona Parker visiting her mom. Statham is an anagram for "that's Ma," which is true for Verona at least, but not Statham's character himself. Jason Statham anagrams. Now there's a joke that I can do again. I'll just say this here. The connections between characters in this movie makes me laugh. Aside from this one with Verona and her mother, the others make sense, but it felt like a running joke throughout the movie how important and high up people got. Clay is taken in because he was very suspicious, but he's released and talks to Verona. Afterwards, Clay calls some obviously connected people and gets the location of the call center that scammed the elderly woman. He drives there, kicks their asses, and sets the building on fire. It's great. The guy who works there calls his boss, who's a punk named Derek Danforth. He says Clay tore through everyone like they were tissue paper. They find Clay and go there to shoot his bees, and Clay fucks them up too. Verona works with her partner Wiley, and they piece together that it's her old pal the beekeeper who is at the call center going after revenge. Obviously, there's more to Clay than just being a beekeeper. Turns out he's a part of a group called the Beekeepers that operate outside the government to ensure that everything stays in order. There are so many bee metaphors in the dialogue that it becomes hilarious. A couple characters even make puns. But Clay keeps going, and Verona keeps chasing after him. The action scenes are fun, and I could always tell what was going on. One of my favorite set pieces is the scene at a gas station that involves a gun that shoots 6,000 rounds per minute. They make a point of saying that in the movie. Clay even gets a skateboard at one point. I think he borrowed it from Vin Diesel. Hopefully they call the sequel The Return of Adam Clay when it gets released. This isn't the most graphically explicit movie, but there's just a ridiculous level of brutality to it that completely caught me off guard. It broke me a couple times, and I couldn't stop laughing at how over the top it became. It gets so silly, but it didn't take it too far, and I love the balance. The Beekeeper is fast-paced, and I was never bored. It sets itself up well enough, and I understand why Clay wants revenge, and then he just goes after it. The acting is fine for what the movie needs. Particularly, I like Emmy Raver-Lampman as Verona. It's not a masterpiece, but I was thoroughly entertained. I wouldn't call this a comedy, but I laughed very hard a lot. I'm giving The Beekeeper an 8 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.